At the Tory party conference this week, Jonathan Gullis, the former MP for Stoke-on-Trent North, Kidsgrove and Talk, has admitted that he's finding it hard to find a job. I find this really hard to believe. After all, he was such an upstanding member of Parliament. I can't understand why anybody wouldn't want him around their children. So much so that I've put some of his highlights that he could probably use as a video CV.
It's been hard. Look, I'll be frank. Look, it was nearly, 3 months now, and I'm still without a job, right? And that's scary. I'm a father of a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. I've got a wife who's extremely supportive, but of course is worried about the bills.
You were a teacher before.
I was a teacher before, and obviously I've applied for a few jobs, and sadly not even had an interview yet. So,
do you think, is there a problem in the teaching profession, that it specifically goes against you in the teaching profession, that you're a Conservative
I'll
MP?
be perfectly frank with you. When I entered teaching, it was always slightly more centre-left leaning, but I always felt that it was fair. When the time I left the profession to enter Parliament, I felt if being a Conservative was something that was treated with disdain, and I do think there's a lot of schools that will see who I used to represent and maybe my views, which they may not like. And because of that, not because of what I can do as a teacher, but because of that, I won't even be given an interview. And I think that's a damning indictment on the profession that I do love and do care about. But sadly, if you're going to have too many activists in the classroom, which I do think we have at this time, then politics is going to sadly determine who's allowed to work in that profession.
Is that really what you want to do? Upset people, as opposed to just send a positive message
let's be
out
clear.
there?
When I say upset people, I'm talking about the Twitterati, wokerati of North Islington, those who's the champagne socialists who pontificate all day long, the lefty lawyers, Keir Starmer's best mates, Mr. Flip-Flop, because he can't take a position on anything in this day and age. Those are the people I don't care upsetting about, because those are the people who want to call people up here racist, bigots, Nazis, like Gary Lineker has done, because they want to take back control of their laws and their borders. And I don't think that's completely outrageous. They also took this vote...
You are just ticking off all the regular tropes that people would expect from
no,
you.
No, not
in places like Smallthorne, where we sadly see scumbags who fly tip their filth in our community. In Cobridge, where scroats deal and shoot up their drugs, wreaking havoc on our community. And in Tunstall, where savages and their antisocial behaviour causes mayhem for local businesses and local people.
So Twitter is actually called Twatter in my office because it's full of lefty morons who moan and groan about things that aren't simply important. I'd rather speak to Bob from Stoke than Bartholomew from London. I've got no interest in what the left have to say on Twitter. In fact, I find it quite funny when Labour councillors moan and groan that I'm using Facebook because it's my safe space, but they put it on Twitter. Why don't they come on Facebook and tag me on there and actually see where I'm up to at the end of the day, and they can write to me if they want. But it's a shame they never reply to my emails when I ask them questions. I'm not I'm not interested in what Twitter has to say. It doesn't represent the United Kingdom. If I believe Twitter, Jeremy Corbyn Prime Minister, we remained in the EU, and apparently the world is the worst place to ever live, and I don't know, next will be telling us that we all need to evacuate to the moon urgently. I'm more interested in speaking to people who are actually from Stoke-on-Trent North. People go, well, they're not all from Stoke-on-Trent North. I know for a fact 62% of everyone who likes my page are from Stoke-on-Trent, Newcastle's Lyme or Kidsgrove, because I check that data, which means at least I'm speaking to 3,000 to 4,000 of you who are from my local area. And if other people choose to follow me, they can do. So Claire, please go and bore off.
In terms of the children comment, when the Minister came to the dispatch box before about the 200 missing children, 95% of those were 16 to 17 years old, an age in which traffickers and smugglers encourage people who think they can get away with looking at such an age are encouraged to do. 88% of those were Albanians. Why would any parent spend £4,500 to send their child illegally on a small rubber boat when they could go on an aeroplane for £30? And it's important to understand as well that the Minister made it clear that with those 200 there was no evidence that anyone had been kidnapped, that they left of their own accord.
The previous member, I'm sorry he's not in his place, who suggested that the Immigration Minister himself, when he was dismissing concerns about locking children up because he was suggesting that they probably weren't children because of the concerns about age verification, used a gentle phrase about his mother might say, have a long look in the mirror. I would suggest that the member from Stoke gives his head a wobble for what he's just said about children who have gone missing. 16 and 17-year-olds are children. 16 and 17-year-olds are children. He's chuntering from a sedentary position. If that child turns up, I hope to goodness that they all turn up safe and well, because if they don't, what this member has just said will come back to haunt him.
Just had an email from Newcastle Underline Borough Council because they received a complaint from a left-wing whingebag, moaner, groaner, whatever it may be, over the fact that on the recent walk with Bella and Bailey around Bathball Park, I had both the dogs off the lead. Now, they say that the rules around Basketball Park are dogs should be on leads at all times. I've personally never seen any signs for that, but clearly I'll have a look out when I go on my own next time, because I won't be taking Bella and Bailey back there.
Actually, he probably won't want to use that. But if you want to see him getting shamed in Parliament, well, then watch the videos on screen now. Thanks for watching, don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.